I've been playing Deepwoken for more than 4 years, and well, I'm 600 ELO in chime. And now you might be wondering, how horrible can you be at the game? Well, to say the least, I'm very horrible at the game, but that's not the point of this video. Now, when I first started Deepwoken, I did not play the game for the PvP at all. Like, the PvP aspect of the game was fun, but the fact that a roguelike game, dropped on Roblox was just exciting, okay? It was very exciting. And I actually played a game from, the same devs, where Guzer made another game with Monad Studios called Rogue Lineage. You might have heard of it, might have not. A lot of the OG Deepoken players had actually played the game. Anyways, and that game was just, it was super fun. I loved it. And I was actually pretty bad at that game too, but, I slowly got better over time. Although, when I heard that Deepwoken was gonna drop, I was super hyped, bro. I was like 13 years old, no priorities. I'm in like 7th grade or something. And life was just great, okay? It was Christmas when the game dropped, and I had Christmas break, or Christmas holiday, so I was able to buy the game, and yeah. But starting off in Deepwoken, my friends were much better than me, and usually saved me during all my ganks. It's because I was playing with them most of the time, and whenever I did get attacked, I always had someone right by my side, because I never played Deepwoken alone. I was too scared to play alone for some time. But eventually you might be thinking, well, you might have at least caught up to some of the techs and mechanics and how to parry and how to do this and that. No, I never did, okay? I was super bad at the game. But what I genuinely loved about Deepoken was the progression. The progression was the best thing with this game, okay? It brought me back to Rogue Lineage, where you had to progress even harder, which was even harder, by the way, because you had to get the classes and stuff, and they were like really hard to get because you had to go grip people. And I was never really good at that, okay? I'm gonna be real. I was never good at the game. But when I played Deepwoken, bro, it was so fun. It was so quest-based, and it was very adventurous. Mind you, this is verse 1 Deepwoken. All the things you see today was not in Deepwoken. Deepwoken was, think of Roblox in 2011, bro. That's the state Deepwoken was in, okay? It was still very new. I mean, I don't even think the game was finished at that point, right? Anyways, it was amazing. Playing Deepwoken felt like progressing Pokemon games, okay? Because Pokemon games also have that very big grind and storyline and all those things. And I'm a big Pokemon fan. I've watched all of the Pokemon series up until the latest one. I haven't, because Ash isn't in it anymore, but that's beside the point. And I'm gonna be real, I constantly made new builds and wiped them without even testing them. I just loved progressing. So I had 2 slots from the start, spent like 200 Robux on a slot after about Deepwoken, and then I always progressed on those 2 slots. And those 2 slots have like 400 hours each, by the way. So that's very crazy. And I was just addicted to doing new builds, test all the attunements. I even got like Shadowcast immediately when it dropped, and I wasn't even good at the game. I was navigating myself through the depths for like 3 hours to find that. And then I stopped playing Deepwoken for a while, and then came verse 2. And they dropped like a ton of new oaths and a ton of new things, and there's just like new parts of the map. Layer 2, I did not play Layer 2 until like a year or two ago. No, probably like 2.5 years ago. But I would prog a build, then wipe it, then immediately start a new one, because I wanted to test every single oath. I got every single one except for like Arc Warder and, what was it, Vision Shaper maybe? Something like that. And now mind you, back then I was like 13, 14 years old. And I wasn't even allowed to play on weekdays. I was only allowed to play on weekends, because I had very bad grades, okay? A lot of bad grades. And, I really tried to sneak myself. It didn't work. I would play during online school, though. That was some really fun times. Anyways, back to my point. I would prog a lot of builds, and I only had 2 character slots, meaning that I had to wipe if I wanted to keep playing the game, because my PvP was horrible. I could parry NPCs here and there and take like a lot of damage on the way, but it was fine. And when I did get ganked, I would just run away and then just menu. Like that was my playstyle. That was horrible. And now, over this whole time, I wiped well over 100 builds, okay? Up until 2 years ago, I wiped 100, more probably 250. Now that I'm gonna be real, okay? I'm gonna be probably 250, but 200 something builds. And at some point, I just took a very long break from Deepwoken. I started playing Fortnite, and like I went back to Rogue Lineage here and there, and I had a PC. I was or a gaming laptop. I was playing Valorant at some point, and then about like a year and a half ago, I came back to the game, and I finally started learning the game properly. Okay, and that was like F to parry type of things, and dashing and roll canceling and all of those things. I was still buns at the game. But this time I actually felt like Deepoken was fun, because I was playing with the right purpose of the game. The purpose of the game is prog a build and fight, and gank, and see who's strongest. The whole time I was just doing half of that, you know? I was progging the build, wiping, progging the build, wiping, progging the build, wiping. That was all I was doing. I was never keeping a build for more than 2 hours. And now also over time, generally, Deepoken did become more PvP focused. But also over time, I did get into some PvE. I had a little PvE phase. Now I don't do as much PvE because I really just want to play a game. I started learning the new PvP tech, and then they fixed the OG Deepwoken combat, made it into, the parry stun and swing speed type of things, you know. And Deepwoken became a bit more advanced, and then we got the uppercuts and all of those things. And that's when I actually got into the game. So up until this point, I've had 1,000 hours on the game with like, I'm not stuck on 600 ELO chime anymore. Actually, I got out of it like 3 days ago. I got a coach, and this coach taught me some really good things. And it was some very simple fixes, and now my gameplay is so much better. And who knows, if I get even better, I might be able to break out of the 800 rank jail, or ELO jail. So the only part of Deepwoken that was fun for me for like almost 2.5 to 3 years was just the adventurous progression, okay? Because Rogue Lineage didn't really have that. I mean, it had it, but most of the time you would have to gank no matter what, because all the builds were so focused on getting like, we had orderly and chaotic. If you were chaotic, you would grip people. If you were orderly, you would just do quests and help communities, you know? So a lot of the good classes and builds were chaotic. So you had to do chaotic things and get the grips and all of that. And I didn't even have an alt account to grip, so I had to go around and try to kill people, which I was not succeeding in that, by the way. It was horrible. But so when I did get to Deepwoken, the adventurous feeling was amazing for me. I just loved it so much, which is why till this day Deepwoken is definitely one of the best games I've ever touched. Rogue Lineage comes on number one, or actually it's the other way. No, Rogue Lineage is number one actually, and then we got Deepwoken number two. And obviously I haven't played Elden Ring in those games. They're probably so much better. Matter of fact, let's move them down a bit. Silk Song is definitely number one. Hollow Knight, great game. You guys should try it. But yeah, that's just my story. Like, why am I still 600 ELO at 1,000 hours on the game, right? Now I have like 6 slots, so it's easier for me to prog. And yeah, I'm just very happy. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and tell me down below if you experienced Deepwoken just like I did, or if you just went straight to fighting, because my fighting style was horrible. I could not fight to save my life, you know? So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one. Peace.